County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 3, Meeting Section 2.2-89, recording, streaming, and retention of county board and committee meetings was authorized by the Racine County Board of Supervisors on February 10, 2026. Planning is underway to live stream all meetings of the county board and its committees as soon as practical and without delay. However, it is not technically and operationally feasible to live stream all of the meetings, notwithstanding the inability to effectively live stream pursuant to Section 2-89D of the Racine County Code of Ordinances of a recording. The meeting will be uploaded to the county's video sharing website. Good evening to all and welcome. It is 4:35. Supervisors present this evening: Supervisors Miller, Shakur, Wish, Caprillion. Excused is Supervisor Nielsen and Supervisor Spencer. Youth and Governance present is Rivera, and our new representative is Gabby Skipper. Good evening, Gabby, and could you read our Youth and Governance statement, please? Press the right button.
Sorry. Hello, we are the members of the Racine County Youth and Governance Program, and we will be participating in tonight's meeting. This program serves to empower youth in Racine County by encouraging us to participate in local government. We have agreed to abide by the applicable standards of conduct that would govern any elected county board member. While we are encouraged to participate and are allowed to have a non-binding advisory vote on matters before the committee, all formal action taken by this committee will be based solely on the binding votes made by county board supervisors.
Thank you, Gabby. I skipped one thing on the agenda, the chairman comments, and I want to shout out to the Empty Bowls. Empty Bowls is happening at Festival Hall Monday, the 2nd of March, between 11 and 2 and 4 through 7. It is a hunger fighting event to remind us that there is always an empty bowl. So those that can attend here, please try your best. And those that are online or will be watching this, please try to attend March 2nd, which is Monday, 11 to 2, or March 2nd from 4 to 7 at Festival Hall. As I move on, I'm going to address public comments. I have Krishia McFarland here to talk about child care, the Department of Children and Family Services. Could you come up to the microphone, please? And just state your address. Press the right button. Supervisor Miller will keep track of time. We're on a 3-minute maximum limit. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get the mic because we're broadcasting.
Okay. Well, for my own personal preference, I don't want to share my address to protect myself.
Fine. I did not repeat it. I didn't ask you for it yet either.
I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm here to address child care concerns. So I wrote a letter. So, dear members of the county board, I am writing to formally address the actions taken by Racine County Department of Human Services that have resulted in denial and or obstruction of my ability to operate a child care center within Racine County. I respectfully request that this matter be reviewed by Racine County Board and the decision be overturned. The allegations regarding my mental health are false, unfounded, and unsupported by factual documentation, professional evaluations, or credible evidence. These accusations appears to be retaliatory in the nature and arose only after my active advocacy within the community. At no time have I been provided with substantiated findings or given a fair opportunity to respond to verified claims supported by my objective evidence. The characterization of my mental capacity is defamatory and has caused harm to my reputation, my professional standing, and my ability to provide services to families in this county. Decisions affecting licensures and livelihood must be based on verifiable facts and a due process, not speculation, personal bias, or retaliation. I have constantly acted in good faith, both as a community advocate, as you all know, and as a professional seeking to operate a lawful child care facility. I request transparency regarding the basis of these claims, including any documentation relied upon in making this determination. If no factual evidence exists, I ask that the record to be corrected immediately. Therefore, I respectfully request 1, a formal review of decision, 2, disclosure of all evidence used to support these allegations, 3, an opportunity to respond to any documented concerns, 4, immediately reversal of this decision is if no substantiated findings exist. I am committed to serving families in Racine County and maintaining a professional reputation grounded in integrity and community service. I ask that this matter be addressed fairly, objectively, and without prejudice. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to your response. I would like to add too.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay, what I would like to add, which is perfect. I would like to add at the fact that I feel like my character has been defamed by this county and in the city prior to me advocating for me and my children's rights. I have lost everything, okay? I lost his father. I lost everything. I have no money, no income. And for you guys to question my mental capability just because I was shot, I was shot February 13, 2022, does not substantiate my mental capacity. I'm in school now, okay? Going for my neurological, like for neurology, okay? I'm very smart, I'm very bright. At any time, you guys were giving money to over $2 million for mental health. If y'all had any problem with that, you guys could have sent me for services, or me or my family. We wasn't offered none of that. And that's fine.
Thank you
But the
very
dangerous
much.
safety of my children, that's unquestioned. I help everybody.
Thank you. Okay, next up on my agenda is the approval of the minutes from February 4th, 2026.
Move to approve. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none. Youth and Governance, all in favor? Committee, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes of February 4th, 2026 are approved. Next up, I have the county board, which is required to establish the total annual compensation of the clerk of courts and the county sheriff for the years 2027, 28, 29, and 30, requesting resolution for first reading February 24th, 2006. Let me reflect into the record that I am handing out a spreadsheet I received last evening in regards to the clerk of courts in most of the Wisconsin counties, reflecting salaries, FTEs, staff, number of staff, population, and number of judges from the years 2023 to the current 2026. Okay, they're now being dispersed by Byron. So I'd like this to be open for discussion here from the committee, and I'm looking for somebody to open up discussion or offering a solution to what the annual raise is for the two positions, clerk of courts and the sheriff. Open up for discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Supervisor Miller.
at our last meeting, we had a vigorous discussion about comparables. I know part of the discussion was, what do other members of those departments, specifically the sheriff's office, earn, and should that be a factor? My experience is that it is not unusual for staff with very high qualifications to be paid more than elected officials. And that's just the way it is. And I don't like to say it's always been that way, but it has been that way for considerable period of time. And it is that way in many other municipalities and many other counties. So as we set these salaries, I think a significant factor is how do they balance with the other group of 3 that we set 2 years ago? And I don't think it's appropriate or proper for us to go too out of line for that. So I'm going to hold to my previous desire and motion of from the last meeting of giving an increase of 2.5% for the first 2 years and then 3% for the final 2 years. And I would so move. The 2.5% for each of the first 2 years and 3% for each of the last 2 years of the term. That is my motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second from Supervisor Shakur. Conversation, discussion from the committee, or I'll start. Chairman Kramer, you have your mic on.
Oh, yeah. I know we've had quite a few discussions on this, Chairman.
Yes.
And I agree with Supervisor Miller. The constitutional officers are elected by the constituents of the county, and they report, to the constituents, which gives them a lot of leeway. And as you pointed out, a lot of times you don't make as much money as some of your subordinates do, especially in a highly technical field. When you get into clerk of courts, that's more of a working job. You actually do some work there. And the sheriff, he's also the head law enforcement guy, and he gets to go out and he meets business groups and other community organizations, and that is really where they're at. I see there's a 2.5 and a 2.5 and 3, but then we come back to what we are facing here at the county. I was with the county executive last week, and so was Supervisor Trottier, and we're looking for funds anywhere we can get them. So while 2.5, 2.5, 3, we may want to go 2.5 all the way across, and here's why. They're the boss. I agree, but we need to start somewhere, and we don't have projections on, let alone 27, what the pay scale is. We're waiting for the salary study. We have to set this now because of when the election circulation of the papers start. I would go 2.5 all the way across the board. But I think when we get into the new pay schedule, we're going to find that we're going to be doing smaller COLAs because of the 1, 2, 3 merit raise. So, my recommendation, if I would say go 2 across the board, but 2.5 would be also acceptable. So that's about all I've got to say.
Thank you, Chairman. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Supervisor Wish?
somebody do quick math on what the difference 0.5% makes.
Between 2.5 and 3, it ends up to be $2,000 in 2030, $2,700 for the sheriff, and $2,100 for the clerk of courts.
So how much of a difference does that really make? What are we looking at total between both of them for
It doesn't make a lot of difference. I agree.
I mean,
Yeah.
But that's with the 3% increase across the board. So it'll be
Yeah.
even closer.
I understand that. I've always been I understand what Supervisor Miller said and I get it. It is the way it is. And we got a chief deputy that's making over 20,000, close to 25,000 more than the sheriff. And you got captains that are making as much as the sheriff is making, basically is what I was looking at. To me, that makes no absolutely freaking sense. But I mean, I understand that the chief deputy probably does more nitty gritty. I mean, or the guts of the business for the sheriff's department, and the sheriff is more of a political position, but he gets all the attention and the media attention. The chief deputy does not. So I'm not sure what the give and take there is. I don't know. I just think I would like to make it closer. I mean, and I know we're in financial stress, but I don't know how much a difference that amount of money makes. Just my thoughts.
Supervisor Caprillion?
Thank you. I'm actually of a different opinion. And, I think Supervisor Wish touched on the points that I would argue because they are more of a political position. They don't have the full depths of responsibility nor the repercussions when decisions are made that may be harmful or against our own policy. Their boss tends to be, not tends, their boss is those who elected them in, and usually to get them out is a by far greater. I think to have that differential is warranted. And I have a question first. With those merit raises, I believe what I recall from the last meeting, they have a potential, our employees, our staff have a potential of 4%?
No,
0
3.
to 3.
Maximum.
0 to 3. The thing that I'm cautious of, and what I said last time, is this perception. Those who are doing the bulk of keeping our county flowing, don't get celebrated as much. And usually a celebration is how much we're paying them. It is their love note for devoting themselves. We get in return this reward of salary, of wage. And then we also now with bonuses, a merit wage and then net raise. And now here we are deciding right off the bat, possibly going to 3%. And they just get it. It's not based on merit. I'd feel more comfortable, I think, with what Chairman Kramer has presented as a possibility with 2% across the board. So maybe even 2.5, maybe. Somebody could stretch me on that one. But I'm just looking at how does it look for the people that are the bulk of our employees for the county.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. We are the 5th largest county in the state. I'm looking for a individual leader of our county on public safety. I'm looking for a leader that can be competitive for that position to draw competent, qualified individuals for the elections. This individual is the leader of our public safety, the spokesperson, the final decision maker. This individual's salary at 2.5, 2.5, 3, and 3 deserves to be competitive with what their peers are. Granted, it's Racine County is separate, Kenosha County is separate, but I calculate the 3% at 2.5, 2.5, 3, and 3 at the end of 2030, and it's still not. I believe it's $4,500 off from Kenosha County's salary for their sheriff. I want to make these positions competitive. Not only the sheriff, but also the clerk of courts. The clerk of courts has also the 5th largest county, the 2nd most judges here, 47 FTEs that they're responsible for. The clerk of courts also deserves 2.5, 2.5, 3, and 3 to be competitive, to draw individuals for that election that are qualified, competent, and experienced. So we have a first and a second out there. We have conversation, we have dialogue. I'm looking for more, if there is any. Supervisor Caprillion.
Thank you. Salary does not equate quality in an elected seat. This is not a business in a sense that you are interviewing applicants. There is so much proof in the statement in which I just said, and it surrounds us. I would agree that the clerk of courts has a little different of a beast than, let's say, the sheriff or other constitutional offices. Actually, I can see them all as uniquely different, but I don't want us to get confused that by giving a bigger salary, a higher salary to an elected position, that it's going to give a quality candidate. Or you're basically saying on our meagerly income that we're getting as an elected official that we're not quality, because quite honestly, getting 6,900 or 7, whatever it is, a year is pretty dang meager for us supervisors. But I think we're all pretty quality, full of a lot of competency for this position. So I just wanted to put that out there. I think in other positions, especially as those that we are hiring for, or that we put, our HR puts out there to hire, I would agree with your statement 100%, but not so much in this, under this discussion point.
Mr. Chair.
Supervisors, Wish.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess to clarify what I was saying, I was pretty much agreeing with what Chairman Miller said to start the kick the thing off, which is what Chairman Trottier just mentioned. I think some of us are maybe overlooking the stress and the pressure that gets put on, particularly the sheriff. That position is very, what's the right word I want to use? Very visible. And that position takes the brunt when things go wrong. They also get, the accolades when things go right. I get that. But it is a stressful position and may not do the, lack of a better word, the grunt work that some of the other captains and chief deputy do, but it is very stressful. So I would agree with Supervisors Miller and Trottier, and I would like to bring it to a vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Shakur.
Question. What are we giving the other staff members of Racine County as far as increases?
It is in that, Supervisor, it is in that handout from, it's part of the package. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick.
Thank you.
Somebody right here that you
They
probably
give you a hard copy. Hang on.
Oh, but they put it on the screen. So we're at 2 to 5.
I thought I had it here.
Why is it in?
Here it is.
The average mid. That was 2025. Good.
Good, sir.
Yep. Good.
Thank you. I am, I know,
If I could have one more comment, Chairman.
Supervisor, Chairman, excuse me, Chairman Kramer.
Thank you. Again, reflect, I mean, we're averaging, when we give the merit raise, about 2.5%. And that, you know, and there are perks to being the county sheriffs and there are drawbacks. Supervisor Wish pointed them out. And the money isn't a lot, but when you take what we're going to need to do in the next couple of years across the board with our 1,000+ employees, you don't make that $1 million by not saving that first dollar. That's what I'm getting at. It may be $2,000 or $3,000 difference over the last 2 years, but that's where we have to start, in my opinion. And, you know, that's why, you know, Supervisor Trotter and I have had last week about 3 hours of conversation on it. But I had a captive audience in my car, so
It was you.
that's, I'll let you committee members do your deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I am going to look to my right and see if Supervisor Spencer has any comments about this discussion. And the number 5 on our agenda in regards to establishing total annual compensation for the clerk of courts and the county sheriff for the next 4 years, starting in 2027 through 2030.
Can you reiterate there is a motion on the floor so she knows what?
Yeah, there is a motion. Thank you very much. There is a current motion for an increase of 2.5% for 2027, 2.5% for 2028, 3% for 2029, and 3% for 2030.
Is there another option that was discussed?
That is the motion on the floor. There has not been any other motions that have been brought to the floor, with the exception of Chairman Kramer had said that he is willing to go 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. But not coming from the committee.
I'm apologize for being late. I was totally left my head that we were starting half an hour early. So I may have to abstain from this vote. As much as I hate to, I haven't been part of the discussion. My own fault.
Okay. Yeah, I have one last statement. I disagree, Supervisor Caprillion, with you in regards to pay to attract good employment. I think it is a major difference to pay somebody that is, my words were, I believe, a quality, experience, competitive salary for an individual that is qualified for the position will attract people that are interested in that position. I think it's not a private type of position, but it acts as the public position for public safety for Racine County. And I'll chime in with Supervisor Wish. It is the limelight that the sheriff comes in front of the public. Should there be good things happening? Should there be bad things happening? So with that being said, are there any last comments? Supervisor
Thank you.
Caprillion.
Thank you. I'd be cautious on that competitive statement, because how I hear it, to be competitive, it'd be different if it was like an IT position and you can jump from a business to a business to a business. You, as a resident of Racine County, we have one sheriff. So it's not like they can jump around and there's, 6 different Racine sheriff positions that they can compete for. That is the position that they are getting. It's not like we're paying that position a meager wage. So it's not like we're not honoring them and compensating them for just those qualities that you've brought up, that Supervisor Wish has brought up, they are being compensated. That's not quite my argument. My argument is more so, what are the bulk of our Racine County employees? How are they getting celebrated, and how are we looking at their increase in wages? I think there has to be that close to similar. I don't like the gap of celebration and of those just because they're elected or in certain seats. We all are equal. We're all our gears. This is a part of working within government. I'd feel more comfortable because I guess I want to know the rationale and maybe just digging into it just a little bit more from the maker of the motion. I can see, just because we don't know what's going to happen 3 years, 4 years, barely next year. So to be cautious, to be at 2.5%, 2.5%, 2.5% across the board, I'd probably sit more comfortable with that. So I want to know the rationale of why the half percentage increase, on the third and fourth year.
Supervisor Miller.
Thank you. Looking back, I can say this is one of the most difficult decisions because there's so many variables that are unlike our regular staff. And I fully agree with your point. There's only one of these in our county, and nobody's going to compete for another county because they can't. They can't run for sheriff in Milwaukee County. They can only run for sheriff in Racine County. So I totally valid point. One of the rationales of the split is that we've already given for the other three in the coming 2 years, 3%. I'm trying to, we've over the years tried to keep those as close as possible.
County Executive, you have a comment. Can you, please?
So I'd just like to weigh in a little bit here. I think you need to look at it from 3 or 4 different angles here. One is, what can we afford? That's a primary issue. 2 is, to your point, there's only one sheriff, they can't jump. But that being said, if I can stay in a subordinate role and not get the same PR headaches, why would I want to do this job? Okay. So if I can go backwards 2 steps and make more money from where I am, there is a quality issue for employment, and you could have people running for the job that are less than qualified. You will not have internal candidates anymore. That being said, I also look at it from a competitive standpoint of what are the counties around us doing. And I don't advocate for this because the first question for me is, what can we afford? But I just learned Walworth County is doing 23, 13, and 13 and 13. And they're jumping it up somewhere to around 176. Again, I don't advocate for that. What can we afford? But I think to talk about it in the vacuum of just Racine County Sheriff, one position needs to be expanded a bit. Just my 2 cents for what it's worth. I'm just throwing out some alternatives.
You can't.
I just want you to think some other thoughts. That's all.
Do we want to do Back to the Future, like right out of the movies? Right. Supervisor Miller.
I appreciate the county executive's point, and there's some validity. The other thing is, that I like to bring up is the headline factor. These are very visible decisions, and if we were to do something like Walworth County, that would be in all of the media that exists, a big headline. And then everyone else would say, what about me? You just gave, and I think, what did you say what the first year was? I mean, that's a crazy, in all deference to my Walworth County colleagues, that's crazy.
Supervisor Spencer. Supervisor Wish.
The county executive's point, 1, 2, 3, or 4, wherever that fell, the one about who we want to represent our county, more so than a competitive situation with other counties. So I understand Supervisor Caprillion and where she's coming from. But my point is exactly when you've got other people, staff making more money, why be the sheriff? I could be the chief deputy being making 25,000 more, or I could be a captain and still making that amount of money that you're going to pay me roughly as sheriff. I think we should bring this to a vote. We've already got it out there, and we've got several members that are in favor of the 2.5, and 3, and we should bring it to a vote and either up or down it, my opinion.
Thank you. I want to let Supervisor Spencer speak and then Supervisor Shakur, then we will take it to a vote. And the county executive is back up at the mic, so he might want to say something. And the chairman. Go.
The more discussion I can hear, the better. And then I'll answer.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to move to them?
Yeah.
Okay. Supervisor Shakur.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm of the opinion, from all the information that I've looked through and got questions been answered and whatnot, I agree with the 2.5, 3, and 3. One thing about it, there's been a lot of research and a lot of questions have been answered. And from the dialogue, debate, and discussion, one of the things that was mentioned by Supervisor McKaylee, or Compression. You can have the best sheriff in town and they can have getting paid big money and not do a good job. It takes a lot to do some of the jobs that are here. In fact, all of them, but I don't think that necessarily, it does help, don't get me wrong, having a nice package and good benefits, but sometimes you can get one that you don't pay as much. I'm not advocating that we do that, but you can get a sheriff that would probably get 2, 2, 2, 2, and 3 and 3 or whatever, and they can do a fantastic job. If you understand what I'm saying. So to get to the chase, though, I think that there's been enough information that's floated around and discussed that I'm in favor of moving forward with the 2.5, 3, 3.
Can I talk?
Oh, you can talk. Your turn.
Can they?
Your turn.
I'm trying to catch up on the discussion so that maybe I can vote. So I'd prefer to hear from them first.
Fine.
Thank you.
Supervise,
Just me, Ralph.
Ralph.
Yeah, to be fair, it is not uncommon for the chief deputy to make more than the sheriff, especially in the more populous counties, okay? When you look up to the northern part of the state where there is no chief deputy, the sheriff is skewed higher.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question about that. So there is a difference there, and it's usually significant because the chief deputy is more day-to-day operationally. However, that being said, in the more populous counties, they also take more heat from a public perspective, right? So those are just different factors. I think you all have made up your mind already with that type of thing. But I just want to throw that out there. It is not uncommon for the chief deputy to make more than the sheriff.
Chairman Kramer.
So they deserve.
Again, we have to start someplace, and I don't. Supervisor Miller made a great argument about the 3 and 3 at the end, with the 3 and 3, with the last go around with those constitutional officers, and there were times when, and I believe Chairman or Vice Chairman Miller will remember that there was 0 across the board when we were in hard times, many years ago, and we played a little. We're cycling back to that, and yes, it's a couple $1,000s we're talking over the 2 positions, but then again, like I say, you start cutting 1,000 here, 1,000 there, and you'll start saving some money someday. And that's really my concern is it's unknown what we're going to do with staff, but you know, what happens if we're down at 1% increases with merit? You know, I mean, that's, you know, and the sheriff, you know, it's a special job. The court's a special job. The clerk, treasurer, it's all special. And they represent the county. I'm just looking at it from a fiscal, you know, out in the further end. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'm always the eternal optimist that we're going to really grow this Racine County. We're going to grow employment here. We're going to grow everything. So we're not going to be short on funds. We're going to be able to support our staff. We're going to be able to give raises that are comparable and competitive to our neighbors to the south and our neighbors to the west. Youth and governance, do you have any comments?
I agree with everybody's points a little bit, but like I agree mostly with the fact that like why would you do a harder job if you can do something easier for the same amount of money? Did I get that right?
You did. Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you guys were saying, right?
Yep. Supervisor Wish.
If we went under your, I understand where you're coming from, and believe me, I understand the financial aspect of the county and where we're at. But you can't predict 4 years from now. You can't predict 3 years from now. You can't predict next year. If under your thought processes, if we were to go along with that, we shouldn't be giving any raises. Because something could happen tomorrow. So you gotta, I'm not done. You can only do what's right or what you think is right at the time. We've had hard times in the past. We were here for that. We saw what happened, and we did have, the people understand that. When you get into hard times, they understand. We have to make adjustments. We don't know what's gonna happen. We can only do, my thinking is we do what's best or what we think is best, what we can do now. That's where I'm at on that too.
And I agree with you. We need to do best what we think is best. That's what we do all the time. You know, but we're not talking 1,200 positions or 1,000 positions. We're talking 2 here. So.
Okay, last comments. Supervisor Spencer.
So did I miss much discussion? Or
No,
am I
you-
pretty much, okay, thank you.
It's become circular.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you. So my question, because I hadn't heard, is where are we indicating the clerk of courts? What percentage are we talking about with?
Same.
So
Two and a
the
half,
same,
2.5,
okay,
3,
thank you.
3.
So they're together. They're not, all right. And I don't believe that people who have a desire to serve as sheriff will not run because of a 0.5% in a couple of years. I think that we'll still get quality people to run for this position because they have a desire to serve as sheriff. I also think that a lot of the hard part goes to the chief deputy sheriff. From what I've seen, maybe not in the public, but he's behind them and he's doing a lot of the work. And so, you know, hearing that other counties have the same situation where the chief deputy makes more than the sheriff, I'm in favor of, I heard there would possibly be another option, and that would be the one I'm in favor of.
Should be in favor of the other option.
Well, I'm going to take a vote first.
Wait a minute.
Come on, I said,
Just
no, I
wait.
said no more. I said.
I'll
no
save
more.
it for the county board.
Yeah,
Good.
Mr. Chair,
Thank
just
you.
a point of order
Thank you.
to support you.
Thank
We're really each supposed to have 2 times under Robert's
Right.
rule, and we've all exceeded that. So I think we should shut
Thank
up and
you.
vote.
Okay, but as acting chairman, I can cut it off. right now. So,
Roll call.
Okay, let's do a roll call on the motion of sounds good. As a raise for 27, 28, 29, and 30 for both the position of the county sheriff and the county clerk of courts to be 2.5, 2.5, 3, and 3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, that's right. Thank you. Roll call. I will now start way to my left. Supervise. Okay. Youth and governance, all in favor? I'm not aware of roll call being required or being with youth and governance. Well, you're asking for it then. That also. Okay. Roll calls. Youth and governance, Rivera. Youth and governance, Skipper. Committee, Supervisor Caprillion. Supervisor Shakur.
Aye.
Supervisor Miller.
Yes.
Supervisor Spencer.
Nay.
Supervisor Wish.
Yes.
Supervisor Trottier. Yes. The yeses of 4, the nays for 2. This will go to the county board for first reading for February 24th, 2026. Thank you. Great discussion. Okay, next up we have information technology. We have Robert Villarreal here, request to authorize a 3-year agreement with Spectrum for internet services for the Racine County Public Health for a total of $18,000. First reading scheduled for 2026, February 24th. Good evening, Robert.
Good evening. So I'm requesting a long-term contract as we are taking a look at the operational expenses of our telecommunications in all departments. One of them that's standing out are the month-to-month contracts that we are experiencing and paying for. This one specifically having to do with the public health department. So currently they are paying $700 a month for fiber internet, speed of about 100 megabits per second up and down. And so we want to move into a longer term contract. So we retain the same services, same speed at a much lower cost. Right. So the current contract that we've negotiated with Spectrum, which is the current supplier, is at $500 per month. So the public health department would save $200 per month on a operational basis for the next 3 years, based on what they're currently paying now. So same service, no installation costs. They've already got the service going on. The only thing that would change is that as we were initiating the contract, we noticed that the name is different as well as the address. So right now, as we were getting the contract together, they were under Central Racine County Health Department, and they are moving to the name, get this right, Racine County Public Health. So that's the only difference, as well as the address. So it had the previous customer of record was in Franksville. They're now in Sturtevant. So that's the only change. But the terms and conditions of the contract remain exactly the same. And we are looking to get this approved. And by the time that we expect that by the time this gets in front of the board for approval, we will have the name and address changes correct on the contract. So I asked Gwen if we could get it on the agenda to try to get the savings earlier, knowing that before we get final approval, we will have the name and address change. So just wanted to state that up front.
Is there any objection from this committee for those 2 changes? The name, which Robert indicated will be Racine County Public Health, and the address, I don't recall what the address is off the top of my head.
9351 Rain Road, Sturtevant, Wisconsin. 53177.
Thank you. Any objection from this committee?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to send this to the county board for first reading February 24th.
I have a first and second discussion from this committee.
And just to,
Supervisor Miller.
if I might follow up for my motion, thank you, Robert, for, the long-term approach, and obviously it is saving us money. So, and we will entertain urgency anytime you want to save us money.
You and I are of the same mind.
Supervisor Shakur.
Chairman, good fingers. The $700, it was the same as this, but instead of 700 is 500, right?
That's correct. So currently they're on,
Contract. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Currently they're on a month-to-month contract. So they were at that 700 that their contract has since lapsed. So it rolls over into a month-to-month contract. So when Jeff reached out to me, started looking into it, and we were able to negotiate a longer-term contract. Speaking about his needs as far as different types of speeds, downloads, we gave him a wide variety of options, and this is the option that they chose.
And this is 36 months.
That's correct, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? None. Okay. Youth and Governance, all in favor? Committee, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any objections to this? Hearing none, this request will move to County Board for first reading, February 24th, 2026. It has been approved by this committee. Thank you. Next up, I have Human Resources, Sarah Street, Employee Satisfaction Survey Results, information only. Please forward this to the County Board. But no, go ahead and speak, but I just thought about that and I just wanted to make sure it's sent to the County Board. Go ahead. And then we'll discussion.
So what you have before you are the results from the 2025 Employee Satisfaction Survey. What's kind of nice about this survey is we are able to compare the results from 2024, which was completed around the same time period. There are some really great results to see that employees continue to report being satisfied with Racine County as an employer. Over 86% indicate that they're proud to work for Racine County, and 80% would recommend the county as a great place to work. Unfortunately, there were some results that you can see on the second page that have decreased. So that includes job satisfaction, insurance benefit satisfaction, work culture satisfaction, and the biggest decrease was a 14% decrease in pay satisfaction. And you'll recall that in 2025, employees did not receive a merit increase. So I think that is probably why those results show that. On the third page, there are a lot of results there showing from 2024 to 2025. Employees continue to have trust in their supervisor and believe that their supervisor meets their needs and listens and supports them. In the middle bar, I think important to note that 45% of employees that completed the survey feel that their department is not staffed to meet their needs. So they're feeling a little stretched. Very positive is 78% feel that they're a part of a team and that collaboration is encouraged in their department. So a lot of just overall still good satisfaction, but there are some parts that we do just need to keep an eye out in the future. And hopefully with the upcoming salary study, we're able to address some of those concerns with pay. So with that, I'll take any questions that you have.
Questions, comments from the committee. Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sarah, this is really good data, and I like the graphics. I'm very grateful for that. Just had a question, like on the last page, when we're grouping strongly disagree or disagree. I would be curious if you have a breakout. I think if those aren't equal, that would be meaningful to me. You know, if there's just a small number at strongly disagree and then a bigger number at disagree, that would change how I look at that data.
Sure, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So if at some time, I don't know if you could just give us the raw numbers.
Yeah, I could absolutely do that. Would you be looking at for that section, or would you want the raw numbers for?
Probably everything.
Okay.
And I do appreciate the executive summary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Comments? Okay, yeah, I have just a couple of them. From this survey, we have strong leadership. I'm seeing this. The leadership is wonderful. People that currently work for our county like working for our county and would recommend to work for our county. Where do we need work as far as the county? Competitive pay. And what disappoints me most is the response of 21% from a department, which is probably a department that we put a lot of money into. 21% of the sheriff's department responded. Come on, people from the sheriff's department. Next time we take a survey, I'd like to know what you're saying. I'd like to know how you feel about working for the county. When the average was, what was the average? 54%?
Yes,
I believe.
overall 54% of Racine County employees.
So I'd like that to come from the sheriff's department to talk to their employees and say, hey, we need to know how you guys feel about working for the county. So that's my comments. Anybody else have additional comments? Supervisor?
Let Jody go.
Supervisor Spencer.
In my experience as a labor person, there's tends to be resistance to doing this type of employee survey and evaluation. You know, it might be a question of confidentiality or something like that, but I mean, I think I agree with Don, but I also think that your percent of participants isn't that bad compared to other places.
Thank you. Supervisor Miller?
Yeah, I just want to clarify because there may be two ways of reading it. I don't think it's that only 21% of the sheriffs responded.
That's the total. They make up.
They make 21% of the total package.
Yes.
So they're
So of the 573, 21% were the sheriff's office.
But how many, just to look at another data point, how many total sheriff's office employees are there?
I'm going to give you really rough numbers. I would say like 350. Does that seem like a
So it's more like 40% did respond.
Yeah, I would want to go back and look
Yeah,
at the totals
but-
for each one to give you an
Still below the
accurate
average.
answer. I mean, I would say historically there has been a separation with the county and the sheriff's office, and that is something that we've really worked on and actually improved quite a bit in the recent years. Just helping to include, you know, they're attending more employee activities and events, and so I think that there is room to improve, but that we are moving in the right direction.
And if I made just one other comment, I think in the past year, the affirmation that you have given, especially the employee of the month, the new employees on social media, I think that means something to people. And I commend you for that because they are deserving of that kind of praise. And then again, the new innovation this year of the benefits resource fair, that was fantastic because it was fun, it was educational, and it really showed the counties and your desire that people understand and make the most of their benefits.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Supervisor Wish.
thank you. How was the survey conducted?
It is sent out to all the employees through an email and they click on a link to complete it. It is confidential. They are able to enter in a drawing once it's complete, but they have to actually submit that separately so that their name is not attached to the survey. And then the data and performance analytics team is the one that helps to really go through it. So there aren't like supervisors, managers have no clue who submitted what. It is completely confidential.
So are the department heads charged with encouraging their employees to participate?
Yes.
And how do they do that?
Just by talking to them at team meetings. We also did this year send out a text message countywide to remind people that this is your last chance. We want to hear from you. Please submit the link. And they are entered in a drawing. Like I said, and the drawing is for a day off.
And what was the total participation percent?
Total participation was 54%.
I'm just thinking maybe there's other ways to encourage them to
Yeah.
participate. I think that's where the chairman of the committee was going with that. So maybe
Yep.
there's some thought maybe should give to that. Maybe a little more stress in these
Yeah.
supervisor meetings or something like that.
That is a goal of mine to continue to increase the participation rate.
I mean, if it's explained to the general population of our employment that may have a direct bearing on the result, we transact business with them, maybe that would be encouraging. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. Okay, next up, number 8, we have the finance area. We have our purchasing agent here, Dwayne. Welcome, Dwayne, talking about the sale of the county-owned vehicle by Purchasing Division 2026, action of committee only. Good evening.
Thank you. Yeah, we are looking to sell a vehicle that is owned by the county. It's a 2010 Ford van that Youth Detention has used. They have since replaced that van, so it is not currently in use. Just looking to get committee approval to make a sale and recoup some funds.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to approve the request.
Director Zimmer?
Go ahead.
Do I hear a second?
I just want to know before I second it, what are we looking for? Dollars?
Kelly Blue Book lists it between 5,000 and 10,000.
And what's the mileage?
The battery's been dead since it's been taken over to the YDCC, so we don't know that currently right now. It's guesstimated at about 45,000.
It's a 2010 and it's only got 45,000 miles.
Correct.
Are you going to fix it up before it's sold
No, we're going to sell it as is.
with no battery?
We will make sure that it runs or that it at least starts. I'm planning on going over with facilities in the next couple of days to get the odometer reading and all of that.
So before we put it up for sale, are you going to check it over to make sure that it's operational?
I'm going to make sure it's operational. It was operational before it was before the new van was purchased.
Okay, thank you.
You in a second?
I'll second.
Director Zimmer, you had a...
Yes, I'd like to add to it. So we regularly sell vehicles in carpool, in sheriff fleet, and in the highway fleet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a normal course of business where we'll either trade it in for the new vehicle or we'll sell it and use proceeds for other vehicles. This vehicle was not in any of those pools. It wasn't in the sheriff, it wasn't in carpool, and it wasn't in highway. So as we were looking through our ordinance, we realized that we needed county board approval.
Mm-hmm.
But then also in speaking with Corporation Counsel, it's likely that we would need approval for all of the other vehicles as well. And that's going to be very time consuming for us to come to you for every vehicle. So I'll be working with Corporation Counsel's office to find a good, medium. Maybe it's a report back to you guys on what sold and what the, net book value was and what we got for it. Because if we had to come every single time, we'd be here 100 times a year. So just wanted to let you know that it'll probably be coming down the line.
Thank you. Okay, I have a first and a second. Supervisor.
No, I just want to commend our purchasing agent because over the years, I know he's done a lot to save us money in a lot of different areas. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dwayne. Okay, any other discussion? Youth and governance, all in favor? Committee, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there any opposition? Hearing none, this is approved for sale. Action of this committee only. I don't think this has to go to the county board. Nope. Okay. Sounds good. It's approved. Good luck. Thank you. Finance, next up, Racine County 2025 Annual Emergency Procurement Report of 2025. Gwen Zimmer.
Yep, I'm going to give a little overview and then I'd like to have Dwayne weigh in here. We don't get a lot of emergency procurements, but when we do, the ordinances outline what the process is. And it does require justification from the department as to why it can't wait, why we can't go to county board for approval. It has to really be like a threat to life or something's going to happen pretty bad to the facility or to our public if we don't get it fixed. It does need to have approval by myself and the county executive, and we do keep that on file. And we do expect the departments, if it comes from like highway or sheriff, to be able to tell us where the money is going to come from. If you're, for instance, on the Marino one, the failed mooring chains, they were damaged in a storm. We're taking it from their operations account. When there is no money that's available to it, we keep an account of completed capital for all those projects that are done and have a little bit of money left over. We'll move it into completed capital and take it from there. And if all else fails, we don't have any money for it, we'll come to this committee and to the board to authorize money for it. So we only had 5 this year. Dwayne will be able to answer any questions if we have any, but it was honestly a pretty light year, so I appreciate that.
And I'm sorry, it was actually only 3. There was one for a blown transformer, the mooring chains, and then furnaces at Franksville Hall. The mooring chains, it was outsourced and we got the stuff from 3 different companies. So that's why it's listed 3 times. So in looking back at previous years, I don't know the numbers of how many we've had over the previous years, but I know that 3 is actually one of the lower numbers of emergency procurements that we've had. So we're working in the right direction for facilities and stuff like this to not have this stuff happen as much as it was.
Excellent. Thank you. 3. Great. No more. Okay. I'm asking that this could be forwarded to the county board. Supervisor Spencer.
I'm just wondering, am I missing something about Franksville Hall?
Down at the bottom, there were 2 furnaces that went out. And it was a park.
Franksville.
Oh.
Yeah, the building at the at Franksville Park,
At the
yes.
entrance.
Thank you. I was like, what? County building there? All right, gotcha.
Okay. Thank you, Dwayne.
Thank you.
Next up, communications and report referrals from the county board.
Would move to receive and file.
I have a first and a second. Youth and governance, all in favor? Committee, all in favor? Okay, what do we have next here? I have a staff report. The Finance and Human Resource Committee next meeting is scheduled for March 4th, 2026 at 5 p.m. I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.